Tried to kick you where it hurts. You got up, you kept going. That was in there.
I think they know the writing's on the wall. Maguire. Senior. Back to Maguire. Gary Maguire for Leeds. The young hero to win the grand final,
Hi everybody, welcome to the Lot Pod, the Leeds Rhinos Lot 17A podcast, kindly sponsored by ACD&B, who are a branding and creative design agency based in Farsley, Leeds. They create standout brands, so for any companies out there that need a brand new logo or a brand refresh, just get in touch with ACD&B. Thank you as always to them for sponsoring us. We love them, not just for sponsoring us, but for designing, for creating and producing the amazing Lot 17A fanzine, which is available to buy now. Just Google the Lot Pod store, that first link on Google. That's us. The fanzine is available to buy now. This is the match review panel for Leeds Rhinos versus Huddersfield Giants. Joining me, as always, my right-hand man, my co-host, our amazing Statman Reese.
I'm a stat.
Freeze.
How are you, Reese?
I'm much better for seeing you do Big Fish, Little Fish cardboard box live on stream. I quite enjoyed that. No, I'm good. Rhinos managed to rescue my sporting weekend, which at halftime I was not expecting. It's rained today, which means I've not had to do any work in the garden, so I got out of that. So it's not been a bad end to the weekend.
We won't talk about these.
Nope, I can't even believe you're wearing it.
Yep, we're not talking about them at all. Not even, this is the only mention they are getting. It's been a good long weekend, record-breaking in terms of the Easter weekend as well, for not only for the attendances for the men's, but the record was also broken for the women's game as well. So it was an impressive long Easter weekend. This is the match review panel for Leeds versus Huddersfield. And here is how it sounded.
Ashworth and Rushton doing a good job to deny him that fifth tackle. Can Huddersfield withstand here? They're going to run it again at Leeds. They're going to run it to Hanley, and Hanley this time will score. To Reece Martin, and Martin just ambling across the field. And Leeds now put the foot down, and McDonald, James McDonald. Meanwhile, here comes Newman and trying to get on the outside. Oh, gets on the inside. And gets on the inside to Myler. Oh, and then Myler slips. They're keeping alive. Lenny McDonald. And he is brought down, but they've gone from one end of the field to the other of the Leeds Rhinos, and they've still got tackles to play with here. And now it's with Blake Austin. Austin flings it out, and Reece Martin will get the try. And that is wonderful from Leeds. Now then, the kick from Caesar is a teasing one. Myler is going to challenge for it, and the ball is going to be dotted down by Cameron Smith, and Smith is going to claim the try. Now then, can Reece Martin hit the target? One from the last 9 here, remember. One success from the last 9.
Gorgeous from Leeds. Gorgeous.
John Wilkin with the John Wilkin with something nice.
It's the only good clip I could find about it. Brian from Six Again messaged both me and you going, you've got to put this in somewhere on the pod. And that's the only good clip I could find of it, but I had to put it in regardless.
That's the only good clip we're ever going to have. John Wilkin actually praising Leeds Rhinos. And even then, I imagine him clenching his fists, gorgeous Leeds. What an amazing mixtape that was Reese. He's got some skills as Statman Reese. Another one that is hit out the park. Who's on with us today, Reese? Because it's not just me and thee.
It's
we all
not
one of our regulars.
For a change, we've brought this person in for a win. Because he's normally very good at value for a loss.
He's so
because,
good. He is.
He likes to say how he thinks. So it'd be interesting to see how he feels from a win. Mark, how are you?
All good. Thanks for having me on, guys. Pleasure to be here as always.
It's a pleasure to have you on for a win, Mark.
I know. I'm beginning to think now. Getting a bit of getting paranoid about it, lads. You know what I mean?
It's because you're so good. You're such good. You and Duncan have said it loads. It's true. You and Duncan, you're just so good after a defeat. I know that doesn't add up, but a particular highlight of mine from Mark is, I think it was last time he was on, when he suggested Rowan Smith grab Aidan Caesar by the throat. I'll never, ever forget that. That genuinely has me in tears of laughter. So, on to the match review. Positives, Reese, to start with. Any positives from you?
Obviously, the obvious one is Nene, who was outstanding. But I'm sure we'll come to him in more detail. The positives are second half. Again, we need. They've all said in the post-match stuff, we need to hit the ground running in the first half more going forward. But the second half, they had to turn the screw, they had to turn up, and they had to react, and they did. And they held out. So I thought the second half was really, really, really good as well.
Mark, positives for you?
James McDonnell again. Another outstanding signing. His work rate is immense. And he from minute 1 to minute 80, what you see is what you get. He's all in, all action. Again, like Reece says, the second half, we showed a lot of resolve to bounce back. And I think Cam Smith, again, when he gets moving, we tend to function.
Yeah.
I just think with Cam Smith as well, he didn't stand out, did he, on Sunday or yesterday? And yet he still had a really, really good game. But even by his standards, it probably wasn't his best performances of the season, yet he was still that good.
Yeah, and he's still involved in a lot of positive stuff that we do in attack with ball.
Yeah. I thought the other positive I want to mention, because we are bipolar and we slated him last week, was Tetivano. I thought Tetivano was class. I thought the impact he brought was brilliant. I know you're not allowed to talk about him anymore, Lottie. So, Mark, did you think Tetivano brought something last night?
For me, he's a lot improved, but he couldn't get any worse than what he had been. But for me, he's just doing his job. He's still not a marquee forward for me by any stretch of the imagination. He is doing his job. He's working hard. I think out of the props, I think Allroyd's the most improved. I think his work rate and how he hits with the ball and without, I just think he's growing his stature the more minutes he gets. But yeah, he played well, but I just, when I look at Tetivano, and I think of Tetivano that played for Rooster and played for Penrith, he's never turned up for Leeds for me. So in that sense, when I look at him, I'm looking at a big wage, you know what I mean? You look at him just on performance, yeah, he played well.
Yeah, I thought he played well.
I thought Tom Allroyd with the pick of the pack again. I thought I know, feel like we're on repeat, but it's because these players are making us kind of talk this way, like James McDonnell, like Nene, and like Tom Holroyd, who is, for me, again, just continually improving game on game on game. He even had a little step yesterday as well. I'm like,
he did, didn't he?
Never ever seen that from him, ever. But I'm like, so to me, if we've never seen a step from him, to me, that's his confidence coming through to say,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's definitely growing.
Yeah, he's playing really well, and he's getting more and more confident as if to say, yeah, actually, I have got a step in me. I have got an offload. So I'm really excited to see how Tom continues this season.
He didn't miss a tackle yesterday.
Sorry?
Holroyd didn't miss a tackle yesterday.
No, it was a beast. And I mean, I know Mick's just coming back and, he'll slowly gain his fitness, and get to that real world-class level that he's at. But Holroyd at the moment is carrying the pack. For me, Tetavano, I know I said I won't speak about him, but I will very briefly agree with Mark in that he's just doing the very, very basics of what we expect from him, which is fine. I expect more, but I always will expect more from him. We briefly touched on James McDonnell there. What kind of surprises me most about him is he is young, but it's his whole game management. To me, his strike, his positioning, his defense is unbelievable, and even in attack is shining now. I saw someone, you have to forgive me, someone on Twitter, I think it was via Laurie on Loiner's View, compared him to Carl Ablett, and someone else kind of compared him. I know these are really, really OTT comparisons, which is what we're made of on this podcast, but someone else compared him to Gareth Ellis. I mean, if you're getting compared to these two, Mark, he's got a decent future ahead of him.
I think for me, in his work rate and how he goes about his business, potentially he's more Ellis than Ablett. I think we've got I mean, he's come from a great academy. I know we don't like him over there, but you know what I mean? It's one of the greatest academies in game. It has to be said. So he won't one of these other lads that we're taking a chance on or a gamble on from Championship. This kid's got pedigree, you know what I mean? And he's everything, like I say, his game management. He reads the game like a veteran. And you know what I mean? He's still hitting hard and running as hard at 80th minute as he is at first. I just think he's been a really, really breath of fresh air and a great, great signing. And the potential there is immense because in rugby league, he's still a baby, isn't he?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And again, when you look around, when you got him, you've got Newman, you've got Jared O'Connor, we've got Tom Holroyd. You know what I mean? Ash Hanley's not exactly an old man. He's seen as a veteran, but he's not exactly an old man.
No.
And I know hopefully if we do extend Walters, which I think we should do, you know what I mean? There's a good ground in there, a next generation lads. Cam Smith starting to step up into a more senior role now. So there's good potential there. There's good to build on. I just think going forward, but a bit off key there, we just need to get our recruitment better down our spine going forward. But those kids are brilliant.
They are. Joe says in the comments, O'Connor might be the most intelligent player at the club. Doesn't seem to make bad decisions. I agree with that, Joe. Reese, Jared again, just becoming similar to Holroyd, especially in a newer position for Jared, but so comfortable. And even Corey only got a couple of minutes, like 20 minutes again, similar to Catalan. But I feel with Jared, he is our 9 now. He's here now. He's arrived.
I thought Jared had, and I mean this as a compliment. He probably had one of the quieter games he's had recently, but it was still a high level of performance. He was quiet. He didn't really stand out as much, but again, that's probably a compliment to his distribution and how he played. He didn't make any errors as such and just did his job as he always does, which is just tackling anything that moves in that area. But I mean, someone put on Facebook actually. You look at that pack at the moment. Holroyd's I can't even think he's like 22. Jared's like 21. Mick's 23. McDonnell's 19, 20. Gannon's 18. Cam's 24. That pack is
Walters.
We got Walters in there. You can still have Bentley, who's 25. Sangare's 25.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous at what that pack has in the potential for its future. But I think out of any of them, again, McDonnell was the shining light. But O'Connor played well. But I mean, what I loved about McDonnell, you mentioned it, when they had that line break, we didn't have a fullback there, but McDonnell saw that and he went into fullback and made the tackle. And his turn of pace for the try as well was brilliant. His game intelligence is brilliant.
It is. I think it exceeds his years, to be honest. I do. I genuinely think he's got such a fantastic rugby league brain. And credit to Mark said it, and Dylan said it in the comments. He's come from that Wigan defence. It's bred into him, and like Mark said, we might not like him, but in terms of their academy, it is one of the best in the world. To just continually churn them out, and he's one of them in Leeds, thankfully, reaping the rewards of that. Just briefly, and I don't really want to. We can if we want, but I don't want to. Just the Myler yellow card, Reese. What did you make
it was
of that?
Soft. I was angry at the time, and then when I watched it this morning, I can see why they've given it as a penalty, considering the other things they've given. But I didn't think it was a yellow. I think even McGillivray said that was harsh when he walked off the pitch, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
So, well, if anything, it helped us because we kind of re-galvanised after that. A bit like
we're better with 12 men for some reason.
Yeah, for some reason we need to have a sin bin to get our shit together. So it wasn't a sin binning, but I don't care because we won.
Do you agree with that, Mark?
I think that sin bin was just one of the many what the fuck decisions that Failer gave. It was just, you know what I mean? You're like, wow, what game are you watching, mate? You know what I mean? I mean, we got Myler taken out of ball. He gave a penalty for it, but he didn't sin bin him when we were attacking. I think in 3 sets back to back, Newman got twatted twice in head. Yeah, and the one that got, I think, Allroyd caught one. Didn't even get a penalty. And you're like, what? And then, I mean, I've said it many times on Twitter, not just this game or just Leeds games. The ruck and the play the ball in Super League is an absolute farce. The refs have no control over it. You get penalised for something or a 6 again at the start of the game, but it's not a 6 again later on in the same half. It's just a complete farce. And again, one of the yesterday's highlighted that. It's just, I mean, it was a penalty, definitely a penalty. But again, there's certain things about that are creeping at Myler's game that I don't like. If you try to make a flying tackle, at least do something. Don't slap him on face. You know what I mean? Oh, Jermaine, you naughty boy. You know what I mean? You can always set a knackers and at least try and take him out. If you're like Barry Mack. If Barry Mack's going to take your head off, he's taking your head off. Yeah. He ain't going to give you a little slap on cheek, is he? Or tickle your ear.
No.
Speaking of Jermaine McGillivray, actually, I thought he brought the years back last night. I thought
he were really solid, weren't they?
He ran so hard and ran really well. I think he made 198 meters or something like that. He polarized us. I think it was quite a good battle between him and Ash. It was quite good.
Between Jerry McGillivray and Ryan Hall, they seem to be getting better and better.
I know it's 34 is Jermaine McGillivray now.
I think Ryan Hall is in it, 34,
yeah.
33, 34, 35. I mean, Hall is still, well, he always will be because there's a
Ryan Hall will walk into any team in Super League.
Of course he would.
Anyone. And he's a starting winger as well.
There'll be no one as good as Ryan Hall on the wing. Have you got any stats for us, Reese?
I do, yeah. So team-wise, tackles, we made 372. We missed 48, which is the highest of the season so far. And if I just carry on rambling on for 2 seconds, because I believe that's also the 5th highest in Super League this season so far. Is 48. So not great from a missed tackles perspective. I'll talk about a key contributor to that in a minute. That meant we actually missed 11% of the tackles we attempted. Tackle bus was only 26. Carries was more than 22. I don't know why I've put 22. Don't know what I've done there. Carries was 222. That makes sense. Meters 1,430. Average gains 6.4. Errors 6. Penalties 6. So looking at those missed tackles, Bentley was responsible for 25% of them.
I thought you were going to say for 25 of them.
No, 25% of them. So
what's that? 10.
12.
12. That's so unlike James Bentley, don't you think, Mark? To miss 12 tackles.
Well, I commented on it last night, mate. I just don't think his head's there. He's like I say, I don't know what's going on with him. A lot of his attempts were half-hearted for me because you think back to last season, he was tackling. I mean, once he calmed down disciplinary-wise, he was tackling out that moved, and nothing got past him. Literally, nothing got past him. And a lot of time last night, he was jumping out of line, and it was like, Andy here, pat him on back as they went past him. I don't know if Reece will back me up on this, but I'd say a lot of the missed tackles came against when that Will Price were jumping up and down left and right, and Jake Connor when they were going, side to side rather than straight through us. Because the way Opta run a lot of the stats is, which I picked up a few years ago, and if a player like runs across the pitch and you jump out line and you try and grab him, that's classed as a missed tackle.
Yeah.
So it is alarming how many we are missing, by the way. And I'll come back to this later on. The way we approach our defences in two different halves of rugby is proper annoying me now, because we seem to start so passive. Our line just stays still, and teams make so many easy meters on us. And then when we get us mad up, or we get someone simbing, we're flying in. We'll go up as one line. There's kick chases intense, but I don't know why we haven't done that for 80 minutes yet.
Just keeping on Bentley, last year he missed on average 3.7 tackles a game.
Said it all,
and he missed 7.7% of the tackles that he attempted. This year he's averaging 7 missed tackles a game and has missed 16% of all tackles attempted. So he's almost double in both those categories. So I mean, the first half he was awful. He came back in the second half and was much better. But McDonald's doing his job from last year. Yeah. McDonald is being a better version of Bentley, even better than the better version of Bentley we saw last year.
And he's better with the ball.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting with the stats. On the more positive note, though, carries, McDonald had 25 of the carries. There, he was followed by Martin with 21, Hanley with 20, Austin with 19. We had 6 players over 100 meters. One was over 200.
Wow,
which was McDonald. So McDonald had 206. I'm going to segue to McDonald because obviously we all know that he's fasting. He's taking part in Ramadan. He think his last meal was 5:03 in the morning. He said in an interview with Sky. So that's the second time he's broken the 200-meter barrier this year. He's the only player in Super League to break that 200-meter barrier twice this year so far.
Wow.
He's currently, now I love this from a stats perspective, from his games so far, from 6 games, he's made 1,000 meters from 100 carries.
Yeah.
That's quite clean. So he's done 10, he's averaging 10 meters per carry.
What a player.
And averaging 166 meters per game.
What a player.
And he's missed a couple injured as well.
Yeah, so that's over 6 games. So I'm just doing some stats for the whole Super League at the moment because I'm interested to see how much the average carry and that meters per game stacks up against other players. I imagine Paul Vaughan will be there, but I reckon that's leading the centres and the wingers.
Oh, easy.
Other players over 100, Newman, 143, Hanley, 142, Martin, 133. So all of our backs pretty much made over 100 there. Caesar, 111.
Wow.
I know. He's made triple figures. That surprised me. I didn't feel like Caesar ran it at all.
I was about to say, I don't remember him running that.
No.
Watching him in the warm-up as well, though.
I bet it might have been. I don't know. Tetivano got 107. And then just going to the tackles, it's copy and paste. It's Cam Smith again. He's leading tackles in the league at the moment. 61 total tackles a night. Bentley 46, O'Connor 45. Aledski got 39. And considering Aledski probably played 40, 50 minutes, that's a great shift from Aledski coming back. So yeah, that was the main things that stood out for me. McDonald, I mean, how a certain journalist gave him 6 out of 10.
Well, he originally gave him 5.
Right, okay.
Chris
he was man of the match on Sky.
Yeah, Chris was telling me that he saw the article originally. it was 5, and he quickly upped it. It still wasn't 6 anyway. Just on McDonald, like Reece said, he spoke to Jenna after the game when he picked up his Player of the Match award. He hadn't eaten, he hadn't ate or drank since 3 minutes past 5 in the morning. He runs 206 meters, constantly wanting the ball. He said he was exhausted at second half, but knew that the team needed him and kept going to the ball. He's fasting, and he's been fasting the last 2 games, I think. And I missed one because he was injured or whatever. And Ginny said in the comments, McDonald is an absolute machine. Can't believe he's fasting. What's this guy going to be like when he's fully fueled and hydrated?
I'm expecting the 300 meters barrier every game.
when he can actually, be fueled and take things on board that is required as a professional sportsman. I mean, Mark, Rowan's unearthed a gem here, don't you think?
Definitely. And I'll be honest, when it were announced, I was one of the many that were like, why? You know what I mean? I don't remember him tearing up any trees at Lee. I really don't. I mean, that Pape there, 9 stood out a lot when I've watched them over the last 12 months.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's come in, he's settled into Super League, he's settled into that environment, and he's firmly a fan's favourite. I think what it does as well, it gives us a strike on both edges now, because we've got Newman on the other edge and him on, and the genuine threats. And like Reece said in his interview, he said, look, I had to get in there, get ball and help the team, and boy, did he ever. I mean, a quick ruck with him involved, he's burning teams and leaving markers for dead. He's quick to his feet. He runs strong and aggressive. So, yeah, he's been a brilliant side, and long may it continue. Like you say, once he's up and running properly, happy days.
There can't be many players that are not a halfback or a hooker that have run as much from dummy half as Nene has.
As he does, yeah.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
And I love that about him. I love that. I'm just going to take this ball and just run with it. I just love that about him.
It's one of Reece's favourite traits.
I know, but it's just like, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to take this on myself and take yourself 10 meters. But that centre wing partnership we've got now, that's it for me. That has to stay.
Yeah,
because it's meaning that we can play McDonald with someone else in second row. Martin's, just as good a centre as we've got there at the moment. Fussy 2 is out for quite a long term. He's going to go out, take a while to get back in. That is the back line now.
It's as good as it gets. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Someone who I felt grew into the game was Blake Austin. Again, another second half player, as we are the second half Rhinos currently. I thought his ball to Hanley, was it Hanley? When he spotted McGilvray come inside and then just cut out Martin and straight into Hanley's hands for the try. Did you think he had a good game, Mark, Blake Austin?
I think he's doing well. He just needs an halfback alongside him. It's that age-old thing. I mean, Reece will probably back at which stats. Is the hit-ups he takes are ridiculous for a 6 anyway.
Yeah.
But he will try and run it. And to be fair, he gets a lot of sticky tackle and all. I mean, it's not just he's not just running a little scrum half. He's running props and back rows. You know what I mean? Who are smashing him when they do get a grip of him. But yeah, he's stepping up. He's stepping up into that leadership role. I mean, whether it's to do because he's decided it's his last year or whatever it is, but. Yeah, he's doing his job. He's doing his job, and he is playing well, to be fair.
Reece, it can't be a coincidence that I tweet the rumour that Sean Johnson is signing for the Rhinos. Blake has clearly read that tweet. every time, as we all know, every time the Rhinos are linked, even if it's made up by us, to a halfback, Blake has an amazing game. It was Luke Brooks before Catalans.
Yeah.
Blake has the game of his life. Fair enough, he didn't play that well at KR, but again, I tweeted out, Sean Johnson's definitely signing for Leeds. And he has a decent game. Is that a coincidence, Reece?
I'm going to say yeah. Quite frankly,
Don't bother doing it again, mate.
I'm not going to give you credit for that. I'm going to let Blake have the credit because you know what? Look, in the second half, when he started making those bombing kicks again, you could hear the crowd laughing of how good the kicks were. You know, that sort of thing, because you could see it coming down. The cheers of the fullback was about to catch it. One was that good; it deceived absolutely everyone. But when he gets into that mode, when he starts controlling the game with that boo, and to be fair, Caesar did for Smith's try as well. But yeah, when he gets into that mood and he gets into that groove, he's brilliant. But I want that all the time. We didn't see that in the first half. The second half, he really helped us turn the screw. I mean, he got 3 assists on the night, which shows how good his performance was in the end.
Definitely our pick of our halfbacks. Talking of halfbacks, I think there is one that we simply must talk about, and that is you can probably see where this is going. The number one, as in literally number one, Jake Connor playing halfback for Huddersfield.
Where's Johnny from Red Robin when we need him?
You've got good old Jono loves him. First of all, I want to say what an excellent spot from I'm going to call him O'Connor. That's just going to come naturally from Connor. It was an absolutely piece of maverick halfback play for Connor to spot that. Lolohea was stood legs wide open like Joe Root in the slips for England. And then not only does he have the nous, Connor, to play through his legs, but he uses his face to get the ball to go through Lolahea's legs so Cammy can score. I mean, talk about utilising all your halfback skills. That was an amazing piece of skill, that, Reese.
Do you remember we did that pre-season preview? I think John had said, or someone had said, it might have been Bry actually. When he's on fire, he'll have a game where he's on fire and everything will come off for him. Then but then he's either a 10 or a 0. He's never in between. We saw both in that game. It was incredible. It was so bipolar at points. I mean, that obviously one where he kicked it through Lolahea's legs, which was phenomenal. And then obviously him missing the conversion, which was probably the easy ones he had on the night, and I couldn't believe he missed that. And then 4 minutes to go, he didn't even realise that he was losing, and he kicked it into touch. Just covered it alongside.
Just on that, when he kicked it into touch and put it, I'm assuming the highest majority of people listening to this were pissing themselves when he did that. But I was thinking, if that's a Leeds player, I explode in rage. What did you make of Jake Connor yesterday, Mark?
Nobody loves Jake Connor more than Jake Connor. He's one of them players that believes his own hype, believes the headlines. He's a classic case of a Super League player who has got a bit of skill. And then he's lauded by all rugby league press over here like he's some world-class maverick halfback. When really, he's not as good as everybody makes him out to be. He can create some tries, he can cause a bit of damage, but so could Lee Breers. You know what I mean? So did Chris Foreman.
Yeah.
They're just, you know what I mean? I don't get the hype around him. I really don't. Same with that Will Price and all. Lad can't tackle.
Yeah.
If he's a professional halfback, a rugby league player, and he's as good as everybody makes out, then I've never watched a rugby league game in my life. He does this good step, going sideways.
He's going to the NRL.
Exactly, mate, because they need someone to clean bogs. Because I'll tell you what, he ain't going to make more than 20 appearances in NRL. He'll be on between his legs. He'll be signing for witness. Because he is not that good at all. I mean, I know we all like it. Oh, look at his dad did this and his dad did that. His dad's grand final hide and seek champion whenever we played him at fucking St Helens. Again, they're overhyped. They're overhyped players. Connor can do damage, but he's one of these classic flat track bullies. But when it gets into grind, when it gets tough, he don't want to know. He might throw a punch at a 4'5" halfback, but the rest of it, he don't want to know.
No,
Like you, I was laughing when he kicked it at touch. It sums him up. He can't count. It sums him up. He's that thing.
How do you not know you're winning or you're losing, though? That's the bit I don't get.
I think he thought he kicked the conversion. He
Yeah.
He must have thought in his head, I kicked that.
When they mentioned it to him, I don't know which teammate it was. I don't know if it were Masters or oh God, what's he called? Big back row who scores tries for fun with McQueen. After someone said to him in his ear, he looks up at Sky caught it perfectly. He looks up at the scoreboard and it was like, you're like that Mongo out of Goonies. You guys, he just looked like that, like he just realised what had happened. It was so funny.
It was one of the funniest things I've seen in an incredibly long time. But like Reece said, it was like first half, he was really good. He was. We have to say,
and the kick from McQueen's try in the second half was brilliant. You know,
playing really well. And I thought it was one of those games where, because it's happened to us before, where I think, right, he's on tonight. You know, he's playing well, but then it was like the more we grew into it and got better and better, they and him especially got worse and worse. But one thing that did surprise me was when Tuilolahea went on that mazy run. That surprised me mainly because I think, to be honest, he looks bigger than ever. So I don't know how he managed to beat.
To be fair, Aledzki was on his arse at that point.
Aledzki.
And Aledzki got taken off. He got taken off literally straight after.
Lolohea runs all that way, amazing run, gets right thing, and then Myler comes over to him. And Lolohea just launched him.
Swatted him like a fly, didn't he? But I love what Myler did there, because Myler just made him run more, didn't he? He just held on the plate to go on to. He just carry on running. You're not that fit. And then when Myler did try for the tackle, he just got swatted aside, didn't he? Which wasn't great. But there wasn't any Huddersfield player in support for that, was there?
That were another thing that I, as a Leeds fan, I was glad of. But as a Huddersfield fan, I was thinking, well, there's no support there for him at all. You know why that happened? Because nobody expected him to have the ability to do that. I mean, when Lolohea played for us, we were on this podcast, this platform, saying he needs to look like a rugby league. He needs to look like a professional athlete, and he needs to go on a fitness program, to trim down. We said the same. I certainly did about Conrad Hurrell. I said, the fact that he's overweight and he's playing rubbish, it just adds to that pressure. But then it's gone to Huddersfield, and it might just be me being really, really harsh, but I thought he looked bigger than ever.
He did get like 25 assists last year, didn't he?
He did. That's what I mean. You'd think with Connor, Price, and Lolohea, there's some danger there, but I didn't. Apart from Connor, I thought the other two didn't threaten us at all.
It shows how much I know. I tipped them to win the League Leaders' Shield.
If you did enjoy that game yesterday, was it yesterday?
Yeah.
That is going to be the grand final. I'm sticking to my guns. Huddersfield Leeds grand final.
Did you enjoy it? Because my mate Kirk is in the comments, and he can definitely vouch for the fact that I did not enjoy that game at all. I was so stressed throughout that whole second half that I'm not sure how much I enjoyed it. When the whistle went, or when we put him in touch with like 30 seconds to go, I just put my head down. I was just like, oh, thank God for that. It was just more relief.
And breathe. Did you enjoy it, Mark?
Parts of it. There were certain parts I was questioning certain players' parentage and their right to be on the rugby league pitch in a Leeds Rhinos shirt. You know what I mean? Like you do. Again, I liked our resilience to come back from a piss poor first half.
Yeah.
Again, you can't not watch us at the moment and not enjoy watching Danny McDonald. Yeah. You can enjoy McDonald, you can enjoy Jared O'Connor, so there's plenty to like. But again, there's still a lot of questions that, again, Rowan, I'll put it on Twitter as well, Rowan's got to grow some bollocks now and decide if he wants to pick his mates or pick players who deserve a shirt, because it's happening too often with too many players at the moment for me. Myler, Caesar, really? Do they really deserve their starting spots over the first 8 games? For me, nah. I mean, I'm starting to call season 1 kick because that's all you get out of in one game. Myler can run, but amount of times when he hits the attacking line, when he drifts wide and he takes all the centre space, or if someone's running at him, how pathetic some of his attempts are at tackle. I mean, I mean, you said Connor's kick for McQueen's try were good. It was good, but look where Myler was. He runned at 6. That's a fullback. You know the threat. The ball's the threat, and they're always going to go to Connor because Tubby were on the other side of the pitch looking for Bergervan, so they were going to come right to Connor anyway. So that's the threat. As a fullback, you got to look and say that's the threat. It's going to be the threat. He's either going to try and run or put a kick in.
Yeah.
And when he did put it through, his line were up, it was flat. So where's fullback?
Mark,
He was
you,
looking
you
up
do
his
know that you do know that we won, don't you?
I do know that we won, but you're not going to get away with that every week, Ray. Are you? If you want to be serious, if you want to be serious and be up there with the best teams this year, we have to be better. We have to be more consistent.
We do. You still have to give Aaron credit for dropping Alfords though, because he could have left Alfords in that side.
I thought he were gonna
dropping him. He should be putting there his fucking wheelie bin him. Let's not talk about him. If he's a rugby league winger, I'm fucking slimmer at year, and I've been overweight for the last 35 years. So no chance. Don't get me on it. Don't ruin me bank holiday Monday, lads.
We won. We won. We won.
I'm just setting triggers off in Mark. I'm just going to see how far I can push him.
There's kids. I mean, I'm sure we're going to come on to Walters. There's kids there that deserve a chance, and I just think going forward now, we've got a lot of cap money coming off this year, a hell of a lot of cap money that we need to spend. But I think some of these kids, you know what I mean, need to start having a look. I mean, I'd be tempted to have a look at Sinfield with Austin, see how he got on at halfback. Genuinely, I would. Or if you're not going to do that, then put Cam at halfback with Austin and just, I don't know, send Caesar to, I don't know, Wibsey or somewhere. I don't know, wherever, some community club. Yeah. I mean, look at that tonight. I mean, Sam Walters, he played for Bradford. After how he played against St Helens and when he has played, that'd really wind me up like if I were a young player. Coming off contracts and all. He's going to get a lot of offers, is that kid.
I think I'm starting to think now, and I kind of spoke with Duncan when he came on to review, what was it, Cass or something, whatever it was, last time we had Duncan on. Duncan kind of said then that he feels we're playing with fire when it comes to Sam Walters. And at the time, I said, I didn't think we were. You can kind of see where I'm going with this. I didn't think we were.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
now, the fact that, because the way I saw it was, and I've kind of mentioned this on the pod, was I felt he was getting managed in that, he was still transforming into a prop, and Rowan were kind of taking his minute by minute. The fact he's playing for Bradford now, I'm starting to believe, and I know nothing. I am not in the know at all. But the fact he's playing for Bradford tonight, I'm starting to feel that the club have spoken to him about a new deal, and I think he's got something lined up elsewhere, Sam Walters.
That don't surprise me. Because it fits how we work, doesn't it? So players get eased out.
I think Ginny's just hitting the nail on the head in the comments. Use him or lose him.
I think
exactly.
That's it. I think Ginny smashed it.
That's exactly. I don't think anything more needs said in it. It's just use him or lose him.
I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Well, obviously, as I said, I'm putting 2 and 2 together. I might be making 5, but I just feel the fact he's playing for Bradford tonight, that to me would say he has either signed a deal elsewhere or is going to sign elsewhere. And it might be what, like Ginny said, it might have been last year, he might have wanted more game time, or this year, when it might have wanted to start and play every game. And for whatever reason, it hasn't happened. And he's thought, right, I'm going to go somewhere when I'll play more. I don't know.
He scored a try.
And Charlie tells us he scored for Bradford.
She scored.
And
I just looked as well.
Lawrence
Yeah.
told us he's playing awesome. Which it's again, I am completely making this up. Nobody take this as gospel. I am completely making this up. It's my own truth, but I am starting to get worried now, and I do think that Duncan, whenever 2-3 weeks ago, was definitely onto something.
But to be fair to the person that played ahead of him, I know we critiqued his fitness, but I thought he had a good Lissone. I thought he had a good impact again. You know, his first carry, he put someone in his arse straight away. And I know it's not what you expect. And if you look at the compared, I would rather Walters be playing, but at least Lissone did step up and carried better.
It always helps, like when Tetevano comes in and makes over 100 metres, and Lissone comes in and you know adds that bit of bang that we sometimes miss. But it's like the KR game, which drove me mad, when I think we've got Walters there, you know, and he's not getting any game time. Anyway, Cam Smith. We should talk about Cam Smith. There was something on Sky, because I watched it on the game on Sky, and they had a stat race about, has he made the most tackles in 3 or 4 or 5 consecutive games or something? Apparently,
for us, he will have done, yeah, because he tops it nearly every week. He might have done it in the league as well each time. I'd have to have a look. Give me 2 seconds, and I can, because I haven't got the full data yet. But
it was amazing. Won in mark again. I mean, we've kind of spoke about previously how we don't have a captain. If we were to have a captain, do you think it's Cam?
Yeah, for me, yeah. For me, it's Reece Martin comes into that conversation, but it's in more Cam Smith. I think long term, Cam, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, of the top 3 performances for tackles so far, Cam is second and third. Oh, he's second, sorry, for last week. But yeah, he's topped nearly every round, pretty much. But he's leading the tackles in the league at the moment. Is Cam, but he's a very complete player at the moment. I've said off air to you, Lottie, that he's the captain. He was captain on Sunday, but he leads from the front in defence. He marshals the defence from the centre. He's a creative nuisance, and from a defence perspective, you don't know if he's going to run it in or if he's going to be a ball player. And that's the best thing about Cam, is that his unpredictability, whether he's going to pass or take on the line, and it's just everything. Just everything about at the moment is saying captain. I know we all said Martin last year, but for me, it's clear cut.
It's an absolute dream. It's like it can do everything. I mean, even the pass, that like looped ball, I tried over the top to, would it Hanley? They got whoever, Nene, and he got.
No, it was Nene.
Oh yeah, Nene got pushed into touch. Yeah.
Even for Cam to have that in his locker, to boom that pass out, was and is a complete dream. And I do think he adds a bit of unpredictability. Is that a word? Have I just made this?
What you've seen from Cam Smith now, lads, is what I've watched him do since he was 14 for our academy. And he captained every academy team for us. And he played just what you're seeing now. He plays heads up rugby. He can, like I say, can create havoc. He can hit hard. He can run hard. He can do the standard back row stuff out wide. So it's no surprise to me personally, but he is do it now at this level so consistently is a joy to watch, like you say.
It is the mullet.
Sorry, I'm laughing because me and there was a comment from Laurie about the mullet straight on, and me and Lottie saw it straight away, and we're both trying to get it on at the same time again, because the mullet is where the truth is. It's where the power is.
It cannot it cannot be a coincidence, right? I'm not joking. Prior to Cam even having a mullet, we have been, and long time listeners to this podcast will know, we love a mullet. We love a mullet, yeah. Reese, myself, us all start the Cam Smith Appreciation Society. Cam grows a mullet, and now he's in the form of his life. It just cannot be a coincidence.
The only thing I need to see from Smith or Cam a bit more is if you could maybe try some more clever grubbers in attack and stuff. At the moment, I think our attacking kicking isn't that great. And I think if he can bring that element to his game, he's one of the best players in Super League.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
He is, without a doubt. Man of the match, gentlemen.
For me, it's either McDonald or McDonald.
Toss of a coin.
Toss of a coin, because I think what McDonald has achieved without obviously having the fasting is incredible. With the fasting, it makes it even more astonishing. So because I gave it to McDonald last week, I'll give it to McDonald this week. But I think it's quite a close call for me between those two. Austin's kind of third.
Yeah, I think Sky got it spot on for me. It was going to be a more James McDonald, and like I said, the stats don't lie. It was just immense.
Yep, agreed. Nene McDonald.
Even Ryan Hall said he was
man of the match. He did. Yeah, and Ryan Hall, a legit champion. On to who do we play next? Hull.
Hull. Can I tell you about Hull?
Yeah.
Hull.
The rubbish.
Easy. They're currently conceding 33 points a game. Hull, which is the highest in the league, even higher than Wakefield.
I better change my prediction after hearing that.
Yeah. They're conceding 5.6 tries a game. Again, the highest in the league. They're missing 9.9% of tackles, which is the highest in the league. So I'm all expecting us to only win by maybe 3 or 4 points as a result of all that, to be honest. Tex Hoy has missed...
Great name. Such a great name.
It's a great name, but he's got a nickname, hasn't he? Turnstile Text. And it's now proven because he has missed 43% of all tackles he's attempted this season.
Nice. Just run at him.
So Mark was having a go at Myler's tackling. You know, this guy's even worse on the stats basis. But I just want a nice, easy evening. It will be lovely just to come out of the blocks, you know, just score a couple of tries, have that structure, great defense, and I can just enjoy my Friday evening rather than having to hide behind people with 10 minutes to go.
Just in terms of the team and team selection, Mark, do you change your winning side? Would you like to see anyone dropped, anyone come in for this one?
Like I said, I won't be bothered if we drop Caesar. I really wouldn't. Wouldn't bother me at all if we dropped him. For me, possibly Walters in for Sangare or Tetivano, despite what the stats say. That's about it. I mean, if Gannon's fit, then he comes in for Bentley. It's a no-brainer because I don't think his performance warrants his starting spot at the moment. I really don't. So they'd be changed, if any, that I would look to. I mean, it don't look like Reece said earlier, Fuzzy's out for at least 6 to 8 weeks, he said, didn't they?
Yeah.
I can't think of anyone else who's out injured who's due back anywhere.
I think you're right, really, Gannon, although the way they're managing Gannon at the moment, I suspect he'll play dual edge before he comes back into the side.
Possibly, yeah. With the protocols that they play with at the moment, yeah.
And they're looking after him, which I think...
Yeah, they are, yeah. They have to, though, don't they, as a kid?
Yeah, which is right, and it's something that I think we've mismanaged before. I'd like to see Walters back in the 17 and, you know, maybe give Sangare a rest because he's kind of been involved. You know, we've got the opportunity to rest these players a short week, but Walters has played tonight, so it's an even shorter week for him. So if that any change I'm going to make, I would I drop Bentley? I probably would, but then I'd probably put Tetivano in for Bentley, to be honest. Personally, I want to see him play 80 minutes of second row again.
Yeah.
I want to see it because I've been talking about it. So I'm going to prove myself right, or it happens and it's dreadful. I'm not going to talk about it, and I'm going to stop you talking about it. So I want to see Tetivano and Bentley swap, and I'd want Walters in the 17 somewhere.
When we win this game, Mark, is this enough for Tony Smith to get sacked? I thought he would be sacked this weekend after that KR defeat. Do you think another heavy defeat to Leeds is enough for Hull to reconsider and get rid of Tony?
To be honest, that's down to lunatic who owns them, because you know what I mean. I don't care what anyone says. Tony Smith's one of the greatest coaches in Super League history. His win ratio proves that. He's got a lot of success. He's good bringing young players in, but even he can't polish a turd in one season. You know what I mean? Or like 8 games into his first thing. I mean, half of the signings that are there were signed before he took the job anyway. So we're already lined up. He had, you know what I mean, not a right lot there before he arrived anyway. I mean, Danny Alton's been past it for, 2-3 years? And he's still their top tackler and probably their best 9. You got Satai and Sal, who are hot and cold. When they're on it, they're destructive, but when they're not, they're awful. And then, you know what I mean, they went to sign Brad Dwyer. I mean, how to punish your forwards, because you're not going to get a decent pass from him, are you? So, I don't know. I don't know what he thinks that Adam Pearson, because he comes across to me as one of those owners that he thinks he knows it all, and he really don't. He's proved he don't. He's one of them people that, because of Hull's history, he's like think they're entitled to be what they were in the 80s, or when they beat us at Cup Final in 2005, and they're not. They're just not that good. They're really not that good. I expected a bit more from them, I'll be honest, with Tony Smith going there, but it is what it is. I mean, it won't surprise me if he sacks it. It won't surprise me if we get up tomorrow morning and they say that he's left by mutual consent.
Yeah.
Because he'll only take so much from Tony Smith from above. Because you saw he walked out on OKR when that idiot director started interfering. He was giving him notice, didn't he? So,
I mean, Hull must be really, really rotten if Tony Smith can't turn it around. That club
exactly. He's a good coach.
Since they beat us, they scored 9 points a game.
I can't believe they beat us.
And they've conceded 36 points a game. So everything is telling me this should be an easy win. But as someone has said in the comments, it's Leeds.
Exactly.
And they've conceded 6 tries a game as well, on average.
It's just one of them. If they get a sniff like they did in that first game earlier on in the season, we keep bombing points or trying to, do it on them off the cuff in 20 minutes, then we'll come unstuck. If we go about our business properly, it should be a 20-plus win, and you can have a nice, easy last 20 minutes, Reece. Chilling.
You can have a breather, Reece.
I can just sit there or stand there, and just look out and go, this is nice.
And smile.
Exactly. But I don't know what Leeds is going to turn. Which Leeds is going to turn up at the moment? I'll be honest, lads. I think we've had some good moments. I thought that win against St Helens was good. I thought our second half against Catalans was sublime. I thought we did a lot of good stuff yesterday, but we inflicted a lot of crap on ourselves as well to find us in that position. So it's I don't know. I really don't know what to expect, fellas. I really don't.
Prediction, Mark. Prediction. What score?
If we get it right, they're not getting within 20 points of us. It's that simple. They're not. They're really not. Honestly, if we open up like we have been doing with McDonald, Newman, Reece Martin, we'll destroy their back line, because that back line is awful.
Leeds by
28.
Oh, good lad. Leeds by 28. You'll do me. Reece.
Leeds by 22.
Oh.
And Ash Hanley will get a hat trick.
That's a right shout, is that, Statsman? That's a right shout, that.
Hanley hat trick is on my
Hanley, on his first game back from injury, got 142 metres.
So, I know, he looked like he had been away and all, didn't he?
No, just settled straight back in. He'll be licking his lips to get into this diabolical Hull side. I'm going to say Leeds by 66 points. James Bentley. I think James Bentley will play and score. Again, I think I've said this for 3 or 4 weeks on the bounce. And, of course, Harry Newman will score a hat-trick and Reece Martin will not miss a kick. Mark, thank you as always for coming on.
Always a pleasure, lads. Always a pleasure.
Reece, thank you as always for joining me. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, everybody, for watching live on YouTube and joining in on the live chat as well. It's been fantastic. And we'll see you soon for the mailbag.